Are you looking for the best radar detector in 2023 Top 7 Radar Detectors Review Buying Guide? In this video, we will look at some of the best radar detector in 2023 Top 7 Radar Detectors Review Buying Guide on the market. For more details and price click product link, please check the description below. Before we get started with our video, Number 1. Cobra RAD 480. If you're new to the world of radar detectors and don't want to invest a lot of money or time in learning new terms and technology, we think Cobra's RAD 480 may be the place to start. Priced in the sub-$200 range, this unit has the most basic features, but skips other niceties like GPS, RDD immunity or directional arrows. However, it does have one feature which puts it over the top: Bluetooth app integration. At the risk of oversimplification, the 480 can be thought of as Waze Plus. Keep reading to find out how. Once you start running your new Cobra radar detector, you're immediately granted access to the free iRadar app, available on iOS and Android. The software is essentially the same as the separate Escort Live app accessible by owners of Pricer. More precision hardware, as both brands are manufactured by Cedar Electronics. You can even sign into both apps with the same account credentials, as we did in our testing. Since 2018, these two apps have shared their alert databases. This means, as a Cobra user, you're getting the benefit of data in the cloud from drivers with more powerful Escort detectors. The iRadar app itself is colorful and intuitive to use. While the RAD 480 may not have built-in GPS or the best detection range, the app fills in a lot of holes with warnings of upcoming speed traps, speed cameras, and more without needing to understand more technical terminology. Cobra users can also report their own police radar sightings by holding down the physical mark button on the unit for 2 seconds. Outside of app integration, the Cobra RAD 480 is similarly easy to set up and use with a simple, black and white display and all the familiar buttons. As this model consists of hardware on the more inexpensive end of the spectrum, expect more false alerts and missed hits. Digital signal processing provides faster processing for all incoming laser gun signals and rapidly provides accurate alerts. Still, we think this is a good option to consider if money is a major limitation. Number 2. Uniden DFR7. And now for something completely familiar. At the risk of being repetitive, the best budget radar detector available today is yet another offering from the folks at Uniden. The DFR7 initially went on sale in 2016, and despite repeated price drops, it continues to receive firmware updates from Uniden and remains a strong performer, even when pitted against some of the best detectors on the market. In addition to the standard X, K, and K radar bands, the DFR7 detects laser. GPS is built into this unit and provides the benefits of low-speed muting to reduce false alerts, as well as manual marking of up to 100 lockouts and speed camera alerts. Information is displayed on a monochrome OLED display and voice alerts are available as well. By all accounts, false alert filtering in the Uniden DFR7 is excellent and will keep the detector from alarming every time a blind spot monitoring system is in the vicinity. Radar detection range is impressive as well and performs especially well on the 34.7 GHz frequency of the K band, according to Vortex Radar. Number 3. Valentine One Gen2. At first glance, you'd be forgiven for thinking the Valentine One Gen2 was a gadget from a bygone era. With its matte black, slab-sided industrial design, conspicuous lack of buttons and, yes, even a segmented LED readout instead of a full-color OLED display, it looks like it could have been hanging from your sun visor since the early 90s. But that's sort of the point. This Gen2 device has been a long time coming. The first all-new upgrade to the legendary Valentine One product line in nearly 30 years. If you know the classic Valentine One, made famous by its game-changing directional radar detection, then you know exactly what you're looking at when you see the Generation 2. Valentine actually calls its device a radar locator because when it picks up a signal from X, K, or laser, one of 3 prominent directional arrows lights up to indicate whether the radar signal is coming from ahead, the side, or behind. Until you start using it, this bit of data may seem trivial, but you quickly realize how helpful it is to know where to look for possible signs of trouble. If the front arrow lights up, police could be around the bend. But should the side arrows glow red, you're bogey. As Valentine refers to radar hits as more likely a false alarm from another car or an automatic door. Police measure your speed from the front or behind, not the side. There's a wrinkle. Now that the company's patent on arrows has expired, this is no longer an exclusive feature, and a slew of other mid to high-end detectors can come with directional indicators. What makes the Valentine One Gen2 a true standout is adding competitive long-range detection, top-notch false positive filtering, Bluetooth, and an open API to its already impressive skill set, focusing on its built-in smarts. If you're used to more chatty, inexpensive radar detectors, you may be compelled to ask, as we did, whether the VON G2 is even working. Where other units beep and boop indiscriminately with little indication of where potential threats are coming from, Valentine's hardware stays pleasantly silent but vigilant, only speaking up when a bogey is a legitimate concern. Still, most notable among its few shortcomings is a lack of GPS integration. Where other detectors use location tracking to lock out non-law enforcement sources of radar pollution, Valentine relies on its advanced algorithms to do the filtering on the fly. They say the minor advantages GPS provides aren't worth the extra cost to consumers, and in any case, Bluetooth app integration brings location data and more to the party if you have your smartphone nearby. Pair the Uniden G2 with one of the various apps available on Android or iOS, and the unit's capability and features extend well beyond anything baked into the hardware. This makes for what we think is a winning combination for most drivers. Let's go back to that old school segmented LED we mentioned earlier. As we've said, radar detectors are about data. The company kept the LED because it's much easier to read in sunlight than fancier, multicolor readouts, and that's emblematic. The Valentine One Gen2 is all about providing the most relevant information in the clearest, simplest terms, no frills, just well-honed skills. Number 4. Uniden R7. The Uniden R7 may just make you do a double take. It's black, and angular design answers the question of what the Valentine One would look like if it had sprung for an OLED screen. In truth, it's a dead heat between these two detectors, and depending on your needs, the R7 may just be the one to get. This laser detector comes with built-in GPS, voice alert, red light cameras, and speed camera alerts. In terms of range, the Uniden G2 and the R7 are neck and neck. In independent tests performed by Vortex Radar, the alert distance varied by only 200 to 300 feet between the two detectors, with Uniden's offering occasionally winning out, depending on the band and configuration. Both outclass the majority of contenders by a wide margin. Like our favorite pick on this list, the R7 offers directional arrows to indicate where radar hits are coming from. In this case, the arrows are rendered on a small color display, which is slightly hooded from direct sunlight. In addition to the typical radar bands, X, K, and Ka, the Uniden R7 can detect the newer multi-radar variant as well as laser. Voice alerts are also on offer here, as are configurable alert tones for the different bands. Set alerts to notify you to speed zones, speed traps, construction zones, and school zones. As with other high-end detectors, the R7 claims undetectability from certain radar detector detectors, RDDs, specifically the Spectre IM Roman 4, but the killer app here may be built in GPS, a feature missing from the otherwise full-featured Uniden G2. The addition of location awareness allows you to manually or automatically store up to 2,000 lockouts where false alerts repeatedly ping your detector in regular driving. GPS also enables the R7 to alert you to red light camera location stored in Uniden's database, updatable via USB. What the R7 gains in GPS ability, it trades for Bluetooth connectivity. In one of its few omissions, Uniden has opted not to include a wireless standard for connecting your phone, which means fewer options for data aggregation with other radar users. For this, you'll need to turn to a third-party app such as Waze, which is free but no less excellent. There's not much that disappoints about the Uniden R7, and at a street price that frequently beats the Valentine One, it's hard to go wrong. Number 5. Escort Redline 360. If budget isn't in your vocabulary, you simply can't go wrong with the Escort Redline 360. This beast of a radar detector has no interest in aping the black box aesthetic of its top-of-the-line competition. Instead, it's stylish with interesting contours, and it's a hefty bit of machinery to boot. It mounts to the windshield using a magnet attachment point that's as powerful and secure as it is easy to decouple when you want to store the device away from prying eyes. Getting the basics out of the way, the Redline 360 detects all the common radar bands and adds multi-radar to that as well as laser. Like the Valentine One and the Uniden R7, the Escort radar detector is directional and features 4 LED arrows around the front perimeter of the device that indicate whether signals are coming from the front, sides, or rear. Inside that perimeter is a customizable multicolor OLED screen. This includes a simple novice mode, which dispenses with signal strength indicators and band information and replaces it with color-coded bars, which say things like slow down and caution. But does it also have GPS? Yes. And Bluetooth? Yes. Wi-Fi? Yes. It's also RDD immune and can expand its capability further by controlling Escort's laser jammers, sold separately. Its false alert filtering is among the best in the business, and its range meets or exceeds both the Uniden and R7. GPS affords the 360 all the usual goodies: low speed muting, red light camera alerts, as well as automatic lockouts. Additionally, in auto mode, it uses GPS to monitor your speed and ramps its filters up to eliminate unnecessary noise when you're in town or in a parking lot. As with the Uniden, you may question whether this Escort is even working at times because it's so good at only bothering you when the threat is genuine. On top of all that, the Redline 360 allows you to take the experience to the next level with its Escort Live app, which connects via Bluetooth. While the app is proprietary, unlike Valentine's open API implementation, it does allow you to tap into the hive mind of Escort and Cobra radar users. You can be alerted of speed traps and other threats in real time while they are still outside of detection range. And when you're connected to the app, the current speed limit is displayed on the red line screen next to your actual speed, allowing for customizable overspeed alerts. In our testing, the app integration was perhaps the only major weakness of the Escort Redline 306 stick. It would occasionally disconnect from Bluetooth, requiring a reboot of the app. Also, the speed limit information was frequently inaccurate, with Waze doing a much better job of displaying the correct limits. Nevertheless, if you've got the money for it, this radar detector is the full package and absolutely the one I'd choose. Number 6. Uniden R8. The Uniden R8 is an upgraded version of a previous iteration with some pretty significant improvements, including Bluetooth. It is highly customizable, making it an excellent option for enthusiasts who are specific about how they like their detector set up. When programmed properly for your driving location, the R8 offers you complete control over the sensitivity of your device, significantly improving false alert filtering. The new bubble lens improves its range and accuracy, and the alert response time is also very fast, ensuring little to no lag time between when a signal is picked up and when you're alerted of its presence. The R8 can also detect newer GATSO speed cameras. The R8's predecessor has the mute and mark buttons on the side of the device, which can be difficult to reach while driving, but Uniden placed them on the face of the R8, which is a huge improvement. The MRCD detection is another area where this detector has been significantly improved. Bluetooth will be a helpful feature, but Uniden had not yet released its app when we tested, so we can't comment on this yet. The previous iteration of the R8 exhibited serious issues with auto lockouts, and this version still struggles, though not as badly. You can drive past the same grocery store or strip mall for months and continue experiencing false alerts from the automatic doors. Fortunately, you can manually lock out stationary locations like this, but auto lockouts are a sought-after feature, so it's a bit of a bummer that Uniden is still struggling with it. The R8 is also not completely RDD, radar detector immune, though this is a non-issue in most of the US, as radar detectors are perfectly legal. Lastly, the R8 is a top-notch device and therefore quite expensive, but it is a great daily driver for those who understand the radar threats in their area and enjoy adjusting the settings to optimize their device. Number 7. Uniden R3. Uniden, as a company, is known for making long-range radar detectors, and the Uniden R3 is no exception. This highly customizable device does a stellar job of picking up all the desired frequencies with plenty of time to allow the driver to slow down. Not only does it excel in the range department, but its accuracy is also an attribute to write home about, as long as you understand the optimal settings for your primary driving routes. Uniden gives its users fine-tuned control over band sensitivity to help with false alerts. From the setup to updates to setting adjustments, the R3 is user-friendly, especially once you become familiar with the controls. The GPS location lockouts are recorded by a simple double tap of the mute button, located just below the screen, and remain recorded until you delete them. The audible alerts are easy to hear, and the screen is easy to read. We found the GPS location lockouts easy to perform and plentiful. However, the R3 does not offer as much storage as others, including models within the Uniden brand. While it won't affect the daily performance, it may inhibit the use of future memory-heavy firmware updates. Unfortunately, it also does not pick up modulating frequencies like some of the more expensive models and therefore lacks in its multi-radar detection. Another gripe we have with the otherwise stellar R3 is the BSM filtering. The K-band alert is often triggered when driving next to modern cars equipped with blind spot monitoring. Fine-tuning the K-band sensitivity helps somewhat but does not prevent all BSM-related false alerts. Lastly, the R3 does not feature directional arrows. While it is not a deal-breaker, we genuinely appreciate knowing where the threat is coming from. With this device, you can feel confident that you're getting the most critical features of an advanced radar detector with stellar range and comparable accuracy at FRAW.